Today we're checking out what is making the biggest difference in the guitar tone. So if it is the guitar or the amp or the cab. One question that seems to appear quite often is if it is more important to get a better cab or a better amp or a better guitar to improve your guitar tone. And first of all, I have my personal opinion based on my experiences with that, but I will tell you in the end of the video what I was thinking, so that you can make up your own opinion by the comparisons we'll do now. And of course, what is also very important is your playing. So, or in other words, how you play, and also overall everything you are doing or you are using after you're playing. So first of all, you're playing, but then the guitar, the pickups, the materials, cable, picks, whatever, it all makes an impact. But today I would like to focus on these three things I mentioned, so guitars, amps and cabs, because these are maybe the most prominent examples where people think they can change their sounds. And I'm using the Hotone Ampero Stage 2, so the editor is here. And currently I'm playing one preset that comes with my latest preset pack. So if you like my tones and you would like to get these presets, please contact me in Facebook or Instagram. Links are in the description below. Anyway, so here we have a plain rhythm tone. The next comparison is with a clean tone. So usually I'm using the neck pickup for cleans, so I will focus on that. And my favorite sound is the Harley Benton Fusion and the split neck humbucker position. So yeah, unfortunately here we cannot split the pickup, but anyway, we will compare it. As you could hear, maybe there is a difference, but anyway, now we will check out how much of a difference the amp makes. I will use my preset which I created for the 5150 and then just swap the amp model. I'll also turn off the widener effect, so here you can hear it in mono. Freeman. So they know. So as you could hear, I was just switching the amp here without changing any of the other blocks, to the drive and cab. The EQ, they're all the same. Marshall 900. Angle Savage. Okay, this amp sounds really different. So I think it's also way more quiet. I would have to adjust that. So that is maybe not the best amp for this comparison. Because usually these amps are voiced differently, but for the comparison it's better if they have at least the same volume and the same amount of gain. And so I would choose only that one where that is the case. Okay, these are way louder. Okay, so I hope you could hear the differences. And finally, we will check out what will happen if we change the cab. And for that comparison, I made a preset where I'm using different cabs and different mics in the, or hopefully not different mics. It's different mics. Anyway, different cabs. Okay, first of all, we will compare these two settings with different cabs and mics, and then maybe we will use the same mics and just swap the cab. This is the rectal cab. And now we will use both in the center position with the dynamic mic. Anyway, so what do you think? Where are the biggest sound changes happening? For me personally, from my experience, I would have said before the video that the biggest changes are in the cap section. If you change the cap, and also the microphone, of course, which I consider together with the cap always. And I think also after this video, I would say the biggest difference is made by the cap. Of course, there are amps that sound way different from each other. Like for example, the Rectos, they have a very unique voicing, I think. Also the Voxes. But other than that, if you have a high gain amp, let's say Marshallish high gain, like the 5150 or the Friedman, or also the these VH4, the Soldano. So these amps, they're more or less having their own voicing, but they don't have that immense, huge low end like the Recto has, and they don't have that fizziness that maybe the Recto has. With these amps, you can tweak them to sound more or less similar to each other, if not the same, if you're using the same cap and mic, at least in my opinion. And you can see that also if you're playing my preset packs. There are presets which use basically the same settings for everything except the amp is changing, and then you can hear maybe these small minor differences in the voicing, but other than that the overall tone is similar. So I'd say the cap makes the biggest difference. Then guitar wise, if you're changing the guitar, I would differentiate between clean tones and also high gain tones. For high gain tones, the tone is very compressed, and usually you tend to, at least I tend to boost an amp with a mid-focused thing like a parametric EQ or an overdrive pedal that is cutting all the highs and lows. It doesn't make that much of a difference if you're playing this guitar or even a Telecaster, which I used in the video. Of course, it has less gain because the single coil pickup has less output, but honestly, in a high gain scenario, that doesn't affect the sound as much as maybe you would have expected. For clean tones, there is a bigger difference, but that is more or less due to the pickups, in my opinion. So, of course, if you have these guitars which are construction-wise very different from each other, that is also leading to some difference in the sound. But other than that, if you have, let's say, a single coil in the neck position behind the 22nd fret, then it doesn't matter, I think, if you have a neck through guitar or a bolt-on neck or let's say a PRS style guitar. These the clean tones, the clean tone of the single coil is would be maybe a little bit similar in all of these guitars. But if you would compare that to a neck humbucker, it would be completely different. I wouldn't change my guitars to get another tone rather than changing the cap or the microphone. And yeah, but for cleans, it's also when I'm recording, I'm using sometimes guitars which I would never use in other scenarios, just because I don't like the feel and the look of the guitars, which are mostly the Tellys or the Strats. But for cleans, I tend to take them because they have these shimmering cleans which other guitars don't have. And yeah, but for high gains, as I said, doesn't make that much of a difference in my opinion, which guitar you use. Of course, everything you are playing has to be adjusted to fit together to get the best results. And if I would play mainly a guitar with a single coil pickup, I would raise maybe the input volume of my modeling unit. So other than that, I think it's way more important to get a good modeling unit, good IR, or if you're playing analog equipment, good amp with a good cap, where the cap is the most important thing in my opinion, rather than buying high-end guitars. So I hope this little comparison helps you. Please post your opinions in the comment section below. Really curious about that, and yeah, consider subscribing to my channel. See you.